You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers because now we have video, a couple of different pieces of video of Aaron Rodgers returning to practice. He returned to practice yesterday, actually a little earlier than Jay Glazer believed he would return in that splash report from Thanksgiving. He returned yesterday. There's video of him throwing don't worry, we'll take a little glance at it. And we've got Charles Robinson, a senior NFL writer with Yahoo, coming out and speculating that there may be an alternative reason for Aaron Rodgers pushing himself to come back. Now, I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of fire up and around New York about getting rid of Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh. Okay, that's starting to be a thing, and people are starting to call in question their job security. And people are now wondering, well, Charles Robinson is anyway, out loud, is Aaron Rodgers wanting to come back simply to save their jobs? All right, because obviously you would think if you fire Robert Saleh, you surely could not escalate Nathaniel Hackett into the head coaching role. Yeah, I mean, New York would absolutely, New York media would crush the Jets into the dirt, okay? If no other reason, then look at what's going on in Denver right now. All right? Sean Payton has got that Denver team. They're heading towards the playoffs. I mean, they're playing like a playoff team right now. Right now. And I think for the time being, Sean Payton has won that debate. So keep that in mind. So let's get to this. We'll read a little of this and we'll check. Well, you know what? Let's check out the video now. Let's just look at it. Here we go. This was from the New York Jets. Here's Aaron Rodgers taking a snap. Oh, my goodness, in slow motion. Oh, slow motion. My goodness. Let's make it a little more epic, a little bit more dramatic. This looks a little more like Hard Knocks. Got the salute to service hoodie on. Boy, he can sure throw a football. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. God, I wanted to see how far that went. I did. Here we go, guys. More video right here. This is him out there warming up, looking like he may be doing some jogging, some calisthenics. There he is throwing the football. He ran looked like about 5 or 6 yards and tossed the football. And there's some more soft toss. And we know he's been throwing the ball for a while. Tom Christ, a doctor of physical therapy, he's been commenting on this since I came across him the moment that this injury happened that Monday night. And he's had commentary on it from a while. From these practice videos, he's got a ways to go. Clearly, see a shorter stride length of his right secondary leg to his left injured, not having adequate push-off. Can he throw statically? Probably. Can he move in the pocket? Probably not. Okay, so, and the important part of that commentary would be, behind that offensive line, can you protect yourself? Can you avoid getting hurt again? There's a lot of worry about him hurting or ripping the other Achilles tendon, all right, which happens sometimes as way of compensation for the one that got hurt. So let's get over to Charles Robinson because I think this is kind of interesting. With the death rattle for the Jets 2023 season looming, the question put to head coach Robert Saleh this past Friday night was unavoidable, if not entirely predictable. The quarterback spot without Aaron Rodgers, is a mess. The offensive line is a wasteland of injury, and the defense is frustrated. And the franchise's immediate future is looking hauntingly familiar to last season when the same issues cascaded into what is becoming an annual carbon copy of failure and bewilderment. And with it, The one question that will stalk Saleh and general manager Joe Douglas for the next 6 weeks. The query was aimed directly at head coach after the 34-13 loss to the Dolphins. Are you worried about your job security? Question mark. Quote, no, I'm not. I'm not worried about it at all. Okay, well, maybe not. It has since rippled outward, of course. The surrounding media and fan base has expanded the question to include Douglas and, by extension, the entire Jets coaching staff and front office. That's how this works. You fire the head coach, you're essentially firing his entire staff. You fire the general manager, the clock starts on everyone else in the personnel department. But a better question might be, is Rodgers, for whom the Jets opened the 21-day practice window on Wednesday, worried about the job security of the head coach and general manager? If Rodgers is, that could be playing a part in why he is pushing so hard to return to this sinking and likely very sunken season. Well, I did a video 2 days ago from his Aaron Rodgers Tuesday Pat McAfee appearance where he did say, he finally admitted that where the Jets stand in the playoff chase is going to affect his ultimate decision-making process about whether or not, because he had just said, just like 10 days earlier before that, the two decisions were mutually exclusive. Now they're not. So that's changed. I think he thought maybe there was going to be a win in there that they didn't get. Okay? Certainly that would be a very reasonable answer to, quote, the why that surrounds Rodgers when it comes to him trying to get back on the field by late December, despite a postseason window likely being long dead. From the logical standpoint, rehabilitating his torn Achilles, the sheer risk of compressing a best-case 6-month timeline into a miraculous 4 months seems overzealous at best and absolutely reckless at worst. Unless there is something bigger at stake than making history, and given the considerable heat intensifying beneath the decision-making thrones inside the Jets, there might be. Wow, that's crazy. Stop for a moment. Consider what could happen if Rodgers manages to get himself back into the football field in late December. Set aside the record-setting return from a medical vantage and forget for a moment that it would be essentially kickstarting the beginning of the 2024 Jets campaign. Think of the impact Rodgers could have on the late-season narratives surrounding Saleh and Douglas. Right now, in the midst of accumulating failure and escalating autopsies on their performances, it's easy to see where this is heading the next several weeks. Barring an unexpected and unlikely turnaround the next 3 weeks, the most consistent questions about the Jets by late December will orbit who should be fired and why it's a necessity. The list of names will start just below ownership and might as well trace down to the janitorial staff. Goodness. Now, consider if Rodgers can somehow inject himself into the conversation as agent of change, or at the very least, a reminder of what this all was supposed to look like. Okay, so that's where I'm going to stop, but you can see where that's headed, guys. The perception is he can come in, all right, he can provide a visual evidence to Woody Johnson. Hey, you see, this isn't on Robert Saleh. This isn't on Joe Douglas. This was simply as simple as me getting hurt, me not being here. You were a quarterback away, and we finished with 2 straight wins. All right? Or you finish with 3 straight wins, depending on if he's able to pull it off, whatever. Okay, but the point is, it's not the job that Saleh did. It's not the job that Joe Douglas did. It's as simple as me having gotten hurt. Now, okay, hold on. Not so fast, my friend, as Lee Corso would say. I don't buy that, okay? I don't buy that look, Robert Saleh, if you want to keep him another year, okay, all right? I can buy it. I can dig it. I can get with it. But Joe Douglas is an issue. And I'm going to tell you why Joe Douglas is an issue. You should be building these teams from offensive and defensive lines. All right? That offensive line is putrid. It is dog shit. Joe Douglas, that's your responsibility to put an offensive line out there that won't get Aaron Rodgers' Achilles tendon tore out, okay? And it's also Joe Douglas's job the moment he has confirmation, if not before, and I said the very night, that Monday night that Aaron Rodgers was out, Joe Douglas should have been working the quarterback Rolodex of guys he could bring in, actual competent professional quarterbacks. Colt McCoy had just been let go. Just been let go by the Arizona Cardinals. Longtime, veteran, competent, A to B to C kind of quarterback that can at least, run basic NFL concepts. And with a running game and a good wide receiver in Garrett Wilson, keep you at least involved. Carson Wentz is the other one. I mean, he would have been on this team immediately. A veteran quarterback, 8 seasons, 30,000 yards, like 160 touchdowns. And actually, for all the shit talk people want to do with Carson Wentz, he played, I think, 8 seasons, and 5 of them are really pretty damn good. So my point is, Joe Douglas would be the guy that would probably get his ass run out of town because you didn't do the job when Aaron Rodgers got hurt, and technically speaking, you didn't do the job before the season started on the offensive line. And you know what? One could even argue that maybe Joe Douglas should be run out of town for one simple reason, and one simple reason only. It's 2 words: Mike White. You let him go as a backup quarterback that was completely competent. And this team adored on top of it. You let him walk out the door. Yeah, maybe you should get fired. Robert Saleh, because of the Nathaniel Hackett thing, and look, you can't get rid of Hackett. All right? You can't get rid of Hackett because Aaron Rodgers' face is going to melt off. So if your alternative is keeping Saleh versus Hackett, you keep Saleh another year and see what it looks like. All right? So there's that. But yeah, Joe Douglas, he should get some very close, ugly, fuzzy eyeballs from Woody Johnson. No doubt about it. And then not to make a move at the trade deadline. I mean, I could just keep going. When it comes to leaving your team in that quarterback position, it was terrible. It was incompetent. It was terrible. It was a bad idea. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.